Freedom has a price tag, but sometimes you discover you're paying with the wrong currency. Daniel made $120,000 a year. Good job, great benefits, respected position. He should have felt free. But one Tuesday morning, sitting in his car before work, he realized something that changed everything. His salary wasn't setting him free, it was keeping him prisoner. Daniel was a senior marketing manager at a pharmaceutical company. 10 years with the same firm. Climbed the ladder, got the raises, made the bonuses. He had a nice apartment in the city, a car lease, good restaurants, weekend getaways. On paper, he was successful. At 38 years old, he was exactly where he was supposed to be. But something was wrong. He woke up every morning with a knot in his stomach. Sunday evenings felt like a countdown to execution. His boss was demanding, unreasonable, sent emails at midnight, expected responses, meetings that should have been emails, deadlines that made no sense. Daniel's coworkers quit one by one. They'd hand in their resignations and he'd watch them leave, free. And every time, Daniel thought about doing the same thing. He'd open his laptop, start typing his own resignation letter. But then he'd think about his rent, his car payment, his lifestyle, the trips he'd planned, the things he'd bought, and he'd close the laptop. Daniel's job wasn't the worst. It was just soul-crushing in quiet ways. Projects he didn't believe in, products he wouldn't use, meetings where he nodded and smiled and said nothing he actually thought. He'd become good at it, the corporate language, the political navigation. He knew what to say, when to say it, how to disappear when needed. But somewhere along the way, he'd stopped recognizing himself. His girlfriend, Amy, noticed. "You're different when you come home, like you're still at work." Daniel would deny it. "I'm fine, just tired." But she was right. He'd bring the stress home, the fake smile, the corporate speak. She'd ask him about his day and he'd give her the sanitized version, never the truth. That he spent 8 hours pretending to care about things that didn't matter. That he sat in a cubicle counting the hours until he could leave. That he'd stopped dreaming about anything because dreaming required energy he didn't have. His friends from college had made different choices. One became a teacher, made half what Daniel made, but he talked about his students with light in his eyes. Another started a small design studio, struggled for years, but when he talked about his work, it was his work, not his boss's, not the company's. His. Daniel listened to them and felt something twist in his chest. Envy. He made more money than all of them combined, but they had something he'd traded away, and he didn't even know what to call it. One day, his boss called him into the office. "Daniel, great news. We're expanding your role, more responsibility, and a $15,000 raise." Daniel should have been excited. Instead, he felt like someone had just added more weight to chains he was already dragging. More responsibility meant more hours, more stress, more meetings, more of his life given to something he didn't care about. But he smiled, shook hands, said thank you, because that's what you do when you're trapped and pretending you're free. The moment came on a Tuesday. Daniel was sitting in his car in the parking garage. He'd arrived early, 30 minutes before he needed to be at his desk, but he couldn't make himself go in. He just sat there, hands on the steering wheel, staring at the concrete wall in front of him. And he thought, I have 30 more years of this. 30 years, 3 decades of pretending, of meetings, of selling things he didn't believe in, of trading his hours for money he'd spend on things that would never make him happy. 30 years until retirement, until he'd finally be free to do what he actually wanted. Except by then, he'd be 68, and he didn't even know what he wanted anymore, because he'd buried it so deep beneath the performance, he couldn't find it. He looked at his hands on the wheel, thought about the mortgage he was saving for, the bigger apartment, the nicer car, all the things that would require him to stay exactly where he was, making more, spending more, needing more, a cycle that never ended. And he realized something that made his chest tight. His salary wasn't a reward for his work, it was payment for his silence, for his time, for his dreams, for his self. Every raise wasn't freedom, it was a more expensive cage, because the more he made, the more he needed, and the more he needed, the less he could afford to leave. Daniel sat in that car for an hour, missed his morning meeting, didn't care. He called in sick, drove home, and for the first time in years, he asked himself a question he'd been avoiding. What do I actually want? Not what he was supposed to want, not what would impress people. What did he want? He sat at his kitchen table with a notebook, started writing. At first, nothing came. Then, slowly, memories. He used to write short stories, screenplays, stupid stuff, probably not very good, but he loved it. He used to hike, spend whole Saturdays in the mountains, come back exhausted and happy. He used to play guitar, badly, but he didn't care. When had he stopped? He looked at his calendar, months of weekends blocked out, client dinners, work events, catching up on emails. His life had become a job with occasional breaks, not a life with a job in it. That night, Amy came home, found him still at the table, notebook full of scribbles. "You okay?" Daniel looked up. "I don't think I am." And he told her everything, about the car, the realization, the 30 years, about feeling trapped by the thing that was supposed to make him free. Amy sat down across from him. "So, what are you going to do?" Daniel didn't know, but for the first time in a decade, he was asking the right question. Daniel didn't quit the next day. He wasn't reckless, but he started making different choices. He stopped saying yes to every extra project, stopped checking emails after 7 p.m., stopped pretending he cared about things he didn't. At first, his boss pushed back. "This isn't the Daniel I know." Daniel almost apologized. Then he realized the Daniel his boss knew was a performance, and he was tired of performing. He started writing again, 30 minutes every morning before work. It wasn't much, but it was his. He and Amy moved to a smaller apartment, cut their rent in half. She thought it was crazy at first, but then she saw him smile more, breathe easier. He sold his car, took the train, stopped going to restaurants that required reservations 3 weeks out, started cooking. Every cut he made to his expenses was a cut to the chains. A year later, he took a job at a nonprofit, $70,000 a year, 40% pay cut. His old coworkers thought he'd lost his mind. "You worked so hard to get where you were." Daniel smiled. "I worked hard to get trapped. Now I'm working to get free." The new job wasn't prestigious. It wasn't impressive at dinner parties. But when people asked him what he did, he could tell them without the corporate language, without the performance, just the truth. He helped people. The work mattered. And at the end of the day, he could leave it at the office. He started hiking again, playing guitar, writing. Amy said he looked younger. Daniel felt it, not because life was easier, but because it was his. He learned something that no one tells you when you're climbing the ladder. Every rung you climb costs something, and if you're not careful, you'll get to the top and realize the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. Your salary can free you, or it can trap you. It depends on what you're willing to trade for it. Daniel makes less money now. His apartment is smaller, his car is gone. He can't afford the things he used to buy without thinking, but he sleeps through the night. He doesn't wake up with that knot in his stomach. He doesn't count down the hours until Friday. Last month, someone asked him if he missed his old salary. Daniel thought about it. "I miss what I thought it would give me," he said, "but it never gave me that. It just made me think I needed more of it." The truth is, freedom isn't a number in your bank account. It's not a salary or a title or a corner office. Freedom is knowing what's enough and having the courage to stop before you trade everything for more. Daniel found that on a Tuesday morning in a parking garage, looking at 30 more years of a life he didn't want and realizing his biggest accomplishment wasn't the salary he'd earned, it was the cage he'd walked out of. If this story made you question what you're trading your life for, subscribe for more stories about what freedom really costs.